to stop share screen. Let's get this show on the road. I am so thrilled for today, day 6 of Pause. This free workshop to give yourself a pause, prioritize your foundation. Oh, I got to record. I am recording. Okay, good. I love technology. Isn't it fun just to be curious with yourself with all the moving pieces? But yeah, this is that workshop where you can take a pause and really reimagine what will it look like for me to be my vibrant, spectacular, really healthy, really alive version of me. And yeah, let's get this show on the road. We have covered a lot over the first 5 days. And today, I really see it as kind of unpacking what I call the metamorphic path of empowerment and really gain confidence and self awareness of where you are and where you desire to go. Okay. So if you are watching in Facebook, please comment just that you want the link or you want to register, put whatever you want to put in the comments. And when someone from the team will make sure they can get you the link to register. That way you can watch all 5 days that we've already done. And then we've got one more tomorrow. You'll have a week to watch the replays. You get a free workbook to go along, concierge support, all the stuff. And looking forward today, assuming Malia shows up, I'm hoping. We have a snowstorm here and I'm trusting she'll make it, but she'll be sharing a testimonial. And then we're going to really talk about what is it like when you're in the chrysalis, right? And to really identify where's my current phase and embrace what is possible. Before we dive in, let's go over just a breath, ground ourselves, right? If you're able, close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath, hold it in, and allow a slow exhale and just arrive, right? Let the noise of the day fall away. There's a lot of it. Today's Monday? It's the first day back at work. Things are full. I'm in Southern Oregon. We have our first snow of the year, and I've got about a foot of snow outside my window and 2 kids that are home not feeling well on the couch. So life is full, and I've been in full mommy mode today. I'm looking forward to this content. This is going to be the first time I've ever presented this content out in the world. It's something I've been thinking a lot about. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it lands. Um, and whether you're listening while you're driving or sitting with your afternoon adaptogen elixir, right? Sitting by the fire, looking out at snow, if that's what you're looking at, I invite you to be here right now, fully present. If you can turn the notifications off, turn off the busyness, I invite you to do that. It really helps the full experience. You receive a lot more when you're present, and we think that we can multitask, but research shows that we're actually not that darn good at it. I want to open the chat so I can make sure I can see it. Um, there, the chat's open. Okay, good. Make sure you have the workbook. If you're new, if you're watching the replay, please make sure to text. Let me just say the phone number. Text 458-218-7818 and just say I need the workbook. You can also email admin@marayabrown.com. The team will make sure to get you the workbook, and Aaliyah is there to support you. She was going to go live, but she's not feeling well, so we're just sending her love, and she's always there to support you, especially via email. And the workbook, it's really nice to have as you're unpacking and taking notes each day and kind of gives you something to go along with. Um, we put time and energy into it, and hopefully it's helpful. Thank you, Raisa. I appreciate it. If you haven't already downloaded it, just grab pen and paper. Okay. Download it afterwards or push pause. If you're watching the replay, go print it. Also, if you have been missing the emails, make sure you're checking your spam folder or promotions folder. Sometimes my emails go into there. Yep. And if you feel called to go deeper, please go ahead and take advantage of booking the breakthrough call. This is really my offer to you. If you're in that place of what would this look like for me? And, just a time and space to ask your questions and offer some clarity and explore where you're stuck and how we can help you move forward with clarity and purpose. We're wrapping up today and tomorrow, and these are your last chances to really ask your questions, reflect on what you've discovered, and most importantly, move out of your own way, right? So I really invite you, don't hold back. This is your time to be in full receivership and receive all the aspects of this workshop, rewatch replays, and also receive my time. Okay. For those who aren't familiar, who am I? I could give you a polished bio and a list of degrees and titles and accomplishments, but that's not why I'm here. That's not why we're all here. I'm a woman who says yes to me. I invest heavily in myself, my health, my growth, my vitality, because it is the one thing that truly matters, is what I believe. Yes, I have my Yale education. Yes, I've been supporting women for 24 years, thousands of women across multiple continents. And while many spend on their latest gadgets and designer handbags and luxury cars and braces for their kids and amazing family trips and sometimes fleeting trends, I really prioritize pouring into the foundation of who I am. And the women who come into my space do the same thing, right? My work isn't about fixing you, it's about reminding you of what's already within you, the power, the vitality, the voice you may have tucked away. And yes, making sure every rock is unturned and fine tuning your hormones and your gut health and your sense of vitality and your mindset and your thyroid and your adrenals and all the practical stuff that maybe has been missed or dismissed by the providers you've seen so far. So, day one, my voice is hoarse. Day one, we explored awareness around what is vitality, and we did the vitality assessment just to really unpack that. Day two, we shed some light on the interconnectedness and that domino effect of those 6 areas that keep us in fine. Day three, we dug into hormones and thyroid and adrenals, really unveiling the biologic truths that shape how we feel every day, and gave some nuggets of here are some things you can do and change right away. Day four, we really dug into what we consume, absorb, assimilate, and detoxify or fail to, how those choices craft who we become. And then obviously our foundational well-being, how it gets in the way of that process. Yesterday we had a great live Q&A. I did not keep that live stream up on Facebook. It felt a little bit too intimate for me. So for those of you that really wanted to see that Q&A, just reach out to Aaliyah. Email her at admin@marayabrown.com. As long as you can spell my name, we're good. Maraya. And then now is day 6, right? The chrysalis of change. And this is where we stop circling around our potential and step into it. Okay. I will say sometimes my work is not just a soft, gentle reflection. I want to hold up a mirror where maybe you're stuck in fine and where you've settled and where your potential has been dimmed. And to be able to say, really, are you okay just staying in that? Because how's it working out for you? Right? What do they say? To keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Yeah. How's that working out for you? Right? So you did not spend your time to be here just for me to coddle you. You're here to be confronted a little bit, to be seen and to rise, right? And as I get to know you more personally, I might coddle even a little less or a little bit more, depending on how I get to know you. Okay, so welcome to pause. I want you to picture this, a seed buried in the soil. Let me actually do a share screen. I want you to see the visual. So if we go here, this idea of chrysalis of change, this journey of metamorphosis, we have awareness, we have discovery, we have mastery, and we have flourishing. Okay? So if we start in this idea of a seed, this is where you'll probably want to take notes. The seed buried in the soil is maybe unaware of the sun above, right? The potential from within, but still has an inevitable calling to rise and reach for the sun, right? It takes on the nutrients from the soil around it. And this is where many of us begin. It's a stage where we are unaware of being unaware, right? We've heard from a lot of the testimonials. I didn't know what I didn't know. Sometimes this is ignorance. Ignorance feels like bliss until it doesn't, right? So remember being a teenager thinking fast food and sleepless nights had no consequences, right? That illusion cracks when exhaustion, weight gain, and brain fog creep in. So, an example of this stage one, this first stage, is think of a woman who wakes up exhausted every day despite getting 8 hours of sleep. She's tried every supplement, read countless wellness blogs, but nothing changes. And she doesn't realize that she's stuck in this first stage. It's like maybe she's walking through her day like a zombie and doesn't even feel aware. She's unaware of her stress. She's unaware of unprocessed emotions and hormonal shifts that are silently draining her vitality. She's nurturing awareness without knowing it. Okay. Feeling the discomfort, but not yet connecting the dots. Okay. So this stage is the silent killer of vitality. It shows up when you dismiss the signs, the irritability brushed off as stress, the fatigue blamed on being busy, the nagging sense of disconnection ignored because this is just how life is, or my providers said my labs look normal and this is just part of aging. No, right? But the seed stirs a whisper. What if there's more? This is where the first crack forms, where doubt creeps in, but so does possibility. Okay. So as you listen, and I'm talking about this awareness piece, I'm curious if you ask yourself, where am I pretending to be fine when I'm actually running on empty? And feel into the answer without judgment. It's not a place for shame or blame or guilt, right? Maybe you've made silly choices in the past and you just didn't know any better, or you've just been sweeping it under the rug, but to go, where am I pretending that I'm fine? And I'm staying in the seat and never quite pushing up to the sun, right? And then we move into the discovery phase, right? You've heard the whisper and now you can't unhear it. This is where awareness meets discomfort. To where awareness meets discomfort, like the caterpillar inching along, innocent yet restless. You start to feel the weight of Groundhog's Day, right? Same story, different day, same story, different day. And you ask, is this all there is? Right? That seed starts to sprout and starts pushing up and pokes its head up out of the soil. Whoa, sunlight, right? Imagine a woman who's built a successful career, but every day feels like a loop. She achieves, performs, and yet there's a hollowness she can't shake. She starts questioning her routines, noticing she's not detoxifying her emotional baggage, especially after she's attended 2 days ago in the pause workshop, clinging to relationships, habits, patterns that no longer serve her. She's poking at the edge of her life, realizing that without letting go, she can't grow. Right? So, this discovery phase, and I'll share a screen again just so you can see, because I see Nicole, I just saw you came in. So, we're talking about this discovery phase. So, in this discovery phase, here's where you realize you're competent in surviving, but you're not thriving. You begin to poke at the edges of your life, questioning routines, relationships, your own reflection in the mirror. Some start questioning, oh, I've been part of this religious group for a long time because it was what was expected of me. But does it really resonate with my heart and my soul, or is there a different version? Right? I've been this certain way in my life. And wait a minute. So you start consuming podcasts and books. right? Maybe there is there's something to people saying that food is our medicine, medicine is our food. Maybe Hippocrates did have it right, right? And maybe you go to workshops like this pause workshop, but consuming isn't transformation. So knowledge without action is just intellectual entertainment, right? So then in this discovery phase, we get to ask ourselves, what am I still holding on to that no longer serves me? What would it actually feel like to let go, right? To let it go. Not tomorrow, not next year, but right now. Because the letting go is a requirement in order to step into mastery, to step into this next phase. The caterpillar must actually let go of the identity that he or she has played out for its entire life. It has to be willing to, what is the saying? To find new land, you must let go of the shore, right? That means we go out into the abyss, out into that deep blue ocean that looks like the land is flat, and we're willing to let go. Yep. So you just get to ask yourself, all right, what am I still holding on to that no longer serves me? What would it feel like to let it go? And then we move into phase 3, which is mastery. And that's where the real work begins, right? And you step into the chrysalis, which is a place of darkness. It's a place of pressure and radical transformation. It's not comfortable, right? It's not Instagrammable. It's not Googleable. It's confronting family patterns. It's unlearning beliefs that no longer serve you. It's digging into trauma, your coping mechanisms. It's also finally saying, I'm not just going to inch along, I'm ready to actually change. I'm not going to stay feeling exhausted. I'm not going to stay asking the same people for directions to places they haven't been. I'm not going to continue to go belly up to someone telling me everything looks normal, but I don't feel normal. And this is not my vitality. It's a declaration of sorts. I think of in the journey for women as they go through perimenopause and into menopause, people say, what's perimenopause? It's that like we have puberty and we have perimenopause, the two bookends. Perimenopause is that second bookend that is preparing us for menopause and beyond. It starts as early as age 35 and it lasts until we've gone 12 months with no menstrual bleed. And then we go, aha, la la, welcome to menopause. And I really see perimenopause as that caterpillar that has gone into the chrysalis. And what's really cool in nature is that caterpillar goes into, I can share screen again, the caterpillar goes into the chrysalis. And you know what happens to it? It turns to goo. It's a complete reconfiguration. And while it's there in that chrysalis, it will take multiple rounds of, how about these butterfly wings? Nope, not it. Back to goo. How about this variation, these colors, this shape? Nope, not it. Back to goo. And it's uncomfortable. So it's a chapter of maybe like 35 to 55, 40 to 52, somewhere in that range, where we are reconfiguring. We are becoming more unapologetic, more single minded, and really going, you know what? Who do I actually want to be? This is a time in a woman's life where she's taking an account. What's the unfinished business? Unresolved relationships, what goals that I have that weren't accomplished, what's worked out, what hasn't, how are my children doing, and how's our relationship? What's going on with my health? How have I prioritized it? How have I not prioritized it? And we are in this potential of empowered mastery. So if you picture a woman standing in front of a room filled with peers, her voice trembling as she shares her truth for the first time. She's confronting the fear of judgment, stepping into her power declaring her worth, not because it feels safe, but because it's necessary. She realizes that true community isn't about fitting in. It's about standing tall in your authenticity and allowing your light to shine unapologetically. And I can say the same thing in how we stand in our relationships. We start standing in our power unapologetically and fully authentic to go, you know what? I might have been that version of me, but I'm not going to be a caterpillar anymore. I'm in this uncomfortable phase, and for the people around me, it might seem like the viper's about to come up and I'm irritable, but you know what? I'm in this chapter of shift. And on the other end is a beautiful butterfly, right? So perimenopause slaps you awake. Your body demands attention. Your soul screams for more. You realize you're not here to be hunted or desired by others, to please others. You're here to desire yourself, to reclaim what was never lost, just hidden. And so many women will report a change in their libido. And I say, well, are you turned on by your life? Are you turned on by yourself? And are you turned on by what's being offered to you if you do have a lover, right? This is a phase of trial and error. It's messy, but it's where you choose what wings you'll grow. And for the women that come into the Women's Vibrancy Accelerator trifecta or the Women's Vibrancy Code during this time, whew, it is an amazing time to have the support and the experience of this whole journey and be choosing those wings from an empowered, healthy, vibrant version, right? So you get to ask yourself, where am I shrinking to fit into spaces I've outgrown? So once again, imagine standing tall, taking up space unapologetically. What might change when you do so? And you can think about various areas of your life, your career, your relationship, your health journey, how you show up as a parent or a grandmother, maybe playing a new role in your community, maybe your relationship with wealth and abundance. And we can go, oh, wow, what phase am I in? Right? So here, what phase am I in? Am I in this, oh, wow, gosh, I didn't know what I didn't know? Ooh, I'm starting to learn. I'm consuming books and podcasts. And then this, oh, no, 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 no. I'm not fine still staying as a caterpillar. I'm ready. Let's dig in. Let's do this dang thing, right? And this is where the Women's Vibrancy Accelerator trifecta shows up. Women's Vibrancy Code, my women's retreats, they come in and they go, I am claiming that I will move from discovery over to flourishing. And I can't promise you it's going to be comfortable, but I can promise you that you'll be supported every step of the way. You met Krista, you met Katie, you've met me. You'll get to meet Aaliyah once you say yes, and the other women that are in the space, those that have shared their testimonials. It becomes a community of support, and you receive as much along the journey as you're willing to give, right? And you go, I'm willing, I'm ready to dig into this, right? So you get to go, where are there phases of my life where I'm in awareness, discovery, mastery, or flourishing? And just, I encourage you to take notes, jot it down, what comes up for you. And if there's anything you'd like to share in the chat, please do. If you're watching the replay, email it to Aaliyah. Please share. She forwards it on to me. And the more that I can be there and the team can be there to celebrate your awareness, it's a big deal to claim it, to state it. Okay. All right. So then we move into that flourishing mode, that radiant flourishing, right? So then one day you emerge, right? A butterfly doesn't apologize for its wings. It doesn't ask if it's too bright, too bold, too much, too beautiful. It flies because it can, right? Some of the women that I work with, there's a barrier where some women are almost like afraid to outshine. Maybe they grew up with siblings where, I was the star athlete and I got a lot of the attention and I felt guilty because it took from my siblings. Or someone told me that I was too happy, too much, too loud, whatever. And then we've developed these ideas that I'm afraid to outshine. And we go, no, no butterfly apologizes for its beauty or its ability to fly. It flies because it can. And Malia, I see you. I'll bring you on next. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. So we go, where am I absolutely flourishing? What area of my life? Maybe you go back to those 6 areas that keep a woman in fine: energy, hormones, libido, community, confidence, vision. Maybe one of those you go, I am flourishing right now. But then you also get to ask yourself, in those 6 areas, where am I potentially in this early awareness phase or in a discovery? And wherever you are, it's not a place to judge. You get to celebrate. All of these are beautiful. Celebrate where you are and celebrate that it just keeps going. Even once you become a butterfly in something, there's always new growth. And we get to go back to a new version of awareness in this same area, right? And on this cycle we go, in a constant cycle of new awareness, new discovery, new mastery, new flourishing, right? So flourishing. Imagine the woman who sets a goal so big it makes her palms sweat. Like I mentioned this weekend, I said yes. And for those that have already said yes, I congratulated Laura and Teresa and Kirsten and Mary Lou and Brenna and Wanda. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody. And I know others are coming. I'm just not going to celebrate you yet because we have to sign all the dotted line, but I'm celebrating you because it's so fun to see you book the calls and to say yes. But if you imagine that woman who's making goals so big it makes her palms sweat, she's starting a business. She's moving to a new city, writing a new book, buying that new house, pushing her edges. But she does it with the certainty of internal confidence because she knows who she is, right? So we have need, then we have desire, then we have faith, and then we have certainty. Right? If I ask you, what do you desire, but your core needs aren't being met, it's really hard to think about what I desire, especially in a relationship. I just want to feel safe. Okay, let's get there. Needs. Then, okay, once needs are met, allow yourself to be in imagination. What would you desire? And then from desire, we get to go to faith, to have that leap of faith that I go towards the thing that I desire, and I have faith that it will be provided. And I do it with conviction, and above faith is certainty. So this woman in Radiant Flourishing, she does it with the certainty of internal confidence. She doesn't wait for permission. She declares her vision, commits to it fully, and tackles it with grace and with grit and with beauty, and does not need to apologize for her abundance and her spectacular, right? Often there's recalibration. Community sometimes shifts because now we're resonating at a totally different vibration. And some people are like, ooh, or we're like, I don't know if I resonate with that anymore. All right. And her energy becomes more magnetic. Not because she doesn't doubt, but because she chooses faith over fear every single day. And she has the conviction and the confidence and the vision that is magnetic. And we all know what it feels like because when she walks into a room, we feel it. Right? And remember, there's different areas of our life. It doesn't mean you have that flourishing in every area of your life. Maybe you've got it nailed down in your marriage or your career, or you've got it nailed down in your workout routine and your exercise. But when it comes to your health or your hormonal journey or your confidence or your libido journey, you're in that early stage or just in discovery, whatever it may be. I'm just inviting you to be in self-discovery. So I'm seeing in the chat, my life and self, I felt like was flourishing. Then new things came to my body with perimenopause. And so now I am on a discovery journey to learn. Yeah, totally. There's life and there's death and there's rebirth if you believe in rebirth. With the butterfly, it will pass and then become part of the soil. And then when there's that new seed that comes in, that soil is feeding the seed. So we don't stay in flourishing all the time. Wouldn't that be amazing? Right? I grew a 7-figure business and it was amazing. And then I got to learn the new version of it. Right? My adrenals and thyroid crashed in 2014 and I got to be in a new discovery zone as a healthcare provider. And then now at age 47 with 3 young children and all the travel I've done, there's a new version of it. My hormones are shifting. So I'm perpetually going back to discovery so that I can equip myself with education and compassion and empathy and then go into the chrysalis, into my mastery and flourishing and support each of you along my journey. Okay. So when we're in this flourishing zone, it's when we're in the zone of genius, where your vitality is undeniable, where your voice is strong, where you don't just set boundaries, you embody them. Okay. Menopause isn't an end. It's like a coronation. Remember in Frozen? It's coronation day. You become magnetic, not because you're perfect, but because you're real. You're fully expressed. You're fully alive, especially for the women that are in this perimenopause and menopause chapter and they come into one of these offers and they say yes to the trifecta. They say yes to the Women's Vibrancy Code. It is like putting steroids on the catapulted speed at which you move into flourishing. Okay. So last question, and then let's bring on Malia. My question is, what does radiant flourishing look like for you? Just describe it in your mind, right? Not what you think it should be, but what your soul knows it is. When you allow yourself to go to prayer, when you allow yourself to go into that godly, universal creator energy, into your imagination where all things are possible, what does radiant flourishing look like in your energy, your hormones, your libido, your confidence, your vision, your community, your relationships? Yeah. Okay. Let's bring on Malia because I want to honor her time. Let me find you, Malia. There she is. Spotlight for everyone. And I want to spotlight myself. I never did that at the beginning. Spotlight. Add spotlight. There. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Where in the world are you?
I'm at home
Oh, how
where
is
it's
there snow
cold.
there? Is it cold?
No, we have no precipitation. It's horrible. My lake is like, I don't know, 2.5 feet low right
Oh
now.
boy.
We need
Okay.
precipitation.
Well, you were just in Oregon not long ago, and we just got dumped on with our first snow of the year. There's about a foot of snow outside.
Wow. The whole
Yeah.
time I was there, it rained.
Oh, it
So,
did? Well, you were in the different part of Oregon where it always rains. Okay, I want to honor your time. I'm so grateful that you're here. So I'm just curious if you share, um, before you started working with me and the team, what was life like? What were some of the struggles or patterns? And obviously, you came to the retreat in Omaha. And then we move forward. But if you just kind of think about like before we did the work together, what were some
yes.
of the struggles? What were some of the patterns? What made you decide to go, I'm raising my hand. I want the women's vibrancy code, please.
So I was in an up and down depressed. Uh, gosh, I was depressed all the time. Literally crying every day. Thought I was a weirdo. I talk to my husband often, like, I'm just a weirdo. Nobody gets me. I just It was crazy. It was very, very hard. I basically cut myself off from the world, even from some of my closest family members, and I just cut everybody off. So I wrote this down because I really wanted to tell my story. Um, Jamie, my friend who also went through Maraya, had just raved about Maraya, and so my expectation was over the top. Like, it was dumb, kind of my expectation of this event. This event was supposed to change my life that day. And it was really enlightening, obviously, but at the same time, Mariah's like, "Hey, whoever wants to join, this is what I'm offering." And at that time, I looked at my friend and I said, "I cannot put another thing on my plate. Absolutely not." I was like, this is going to be a lot of work. I don't think that I can commit. I kept going into this depression. I was still depressed. And that event was in February last year. In May, I called Maraya and I said, "I need help. I cannot do this alone. I am," at that point, I was more like desperate to get out of this routine of depression and sorrow and, all the crazy things of thinking that I'm a crazy and my head's crazy. And I'm going through what now I know is probably premenopause, which I didn't know. I didn't know that these are the symptoms. Nobody talks about it. So in May, I called her and I said, "I need help. This is crazy what I keep putting myself through." So that's where we're at now. And you can ask
Yeah.
some more questions if
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how
yeah.
you want to go.
Yeah, no, I love it because I think I did like a 1 day or a 2 day workshop in Omaha. And so you go in thinking my whole life is going to change. And I love that you highlighted that because we have to really be aware of what am I expecting from it was potent, but what about the accountability?
Mhm.
What about the consistency? What about maintaining it? Even this 7 day event, many of you have sent messages saying this is amazing. It's changed my life already. So much new awareness. Awesome. Run with it. And so then you came back in May and you were like, okay, I need the whole thing. I want to enroll in the Women's Vibrancy Code and do the year-long program. I wonder if you can think of or describe a moment when something shifted for you, when you realized things were starting to change.
For the better.
Yeah, for the better.
So I, at first, it was very still kind of like, okay, kind of going through the movements, like, you know, doing the calls, doing the one-on-ones and talking to everybody. When things started to change is when I realized that um, I need to do the work. I need to
Mm.
go in and do the work because the work is not going to just do it for me. Like, there is a process. You have to put in the work and be willing to make those time sacrifices and whatnot. Otherwise, it's just really like, okay, you're just doing the same thing. So really understanding why you're doing the work and knowing what you want to change in your life.
Mm. So good. Yeah. I mean, I could make the most beautiful meals for you, but if you don't put that fork in and put it in your mouth and chew, it's not going to do you any good. If there's calls made available, but you're not showing up for them. I mean, here's the deal. We all live really full lives.
Mhm.
And we can also be honest with how many things we kind of keep ourselves busy with that might be important, but they can wait if we're doing it from an empty tank or a depressed tank or a depleted tank or a, whatever unhealthy, inflamed tank. So thank you. That realization of I need to do the work. So good. So then when something shifted within you and you said, okay, I need to do the work, so far, what has been the most surprising or powerful change that you've experienced through the journey, and especially in how you show up for yourself?
So I haven't. and this is kind of strange, but I've always thought, why don't I laugh anymore? I used to laugh at the dumbest things before high school, and I'm like 20 years out of high school. Um, I never like I'd laugh at everything. People would just say random stuff and I would just laugh and hysterically. And I haven't laughed in so long. And I always wondered. And I was laughing the other day and having a good time. And I wasn't like, I didn't have alcohol in me. It was organic. And me and my husband were laughing and we were having a good time, joking. And I was allowing that to, I was allowing myself to laugh. I was allowing myself to have a good time.
Mm.
I've always been very like, I have to be professional. I can't let anybody see like the lighter side of me, because if they do, then I'm no longer like that, like that. I always live in masculine. Maraya talks a lot about masculine and feminine energy. And so I've always lived in masculine. Nobody can see my soft side. So
Mhm.
I was so surprised. I was so happy.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Especially, I love that you mentioned that you were laughing with your husband. I don't want to, it's not my story to tell, but how can I say this? When okay, so I heard you say that there was more time historically of you kind of acting in your masculine, and this is my word. Tell me if you can relate to this. Sometimes comparing yourself or the jealousy battle within the marriage.
Yes.
Um, so, and I don't want to tell your story, but I'm curious how big that is for
Hmm.
you to be in playful and I'm guessing kind of relinquishing control, allowing yourself to let your guard down and really play with your
Hmm.
husband. I'm curious if you would put into your words or share. Am I touching on anything here?
Yeah. So what Mariah is referring to is when I first started the program, I was very in competition with my husband. Everybody loves my husband. He always, everybody gets to see the nice side of him. And I always have to put my foot down, like, nope, this is how it's going to be. While my husband, is over there saying, oh, you did so great. And I'm like, we were just talking about how great they didn't do. Why can't we tell them that? So I was always in competition of like, why does everybody really like Sean, but I always get like this, everybody doesn't really like me, but it's because I'm an honest person. Sometimes people don't want to hear honesty, or they don't want to hear, the constructive criticism. And I've actually have learned to how to deliver that in a different way. And maybe I was a little bit more harsh before. Um, but also still being very true to myself, because I don't like to sugarcoat things. So
Mm.
knowing that I can deliver something in a respectful manner without sugarcoating it is huge for me. And I don't have to feel in competition of people liking me with my husband.
Yeah, and then go into a playful place
Yeah.
where without feeling and needing alcohol or being intoxicated, especially in Omaha, Nebraska, to be to be laughing and having fun together. For me, because I've known you for this long, it's bigger than what money might think. It's big for everybody. I mean, gosh, laughter. Listen, for those of you that have heightened cortisol levels and adrenal exhaustion, laughter brings your cortisol down. Just laughter for as much as 60 seconds. We can even fake it and laugh. It brings your cortisol down. So good. Anything else that you want to highlight that feels like has shifted? When your time with me, the group calls, your time with Katie, you've also had rest sessions. Anything else that feels like, ooh, this shifted for me?
So there are two very big stories that I want to tell, and they're not long. I'll be respectful of your time. The rest sessions are incredible. I absolutely love the rest sessions. It's release of childhood trauma that I didn't even know I had. And when they say it releases, it truly releases. Like I don't
Mm.
have like, and I don't. I don't want to say like this is like a miracle or magic or anything. For me, it was magic. I don't want to say that because maybe not everybody experienced it the same way that I did, but for me, it was magical. It was, I couldn't even believe it. And another story that I want to highlight is a couple of weeks ago, Maraya on a call, and I don't know if you remember this, Maraya, but you said, what if? What if we lead with curiosity and not with fear? And I said, I say that all the time. I say it to everybody now. And what it did for me, just that little phrase, I got online and I said, what if I put myself out there and say, oh, here's what I've been doing. Let me know if, because I started a company, a small business consulting company. And I was like, let me go online and just put myself out there. Who wants to have a call? Who wants to meet up? And I was like, oh gosh, what if, I started to think like, what if nobody or, my old self would have been like, what if nobody responds? But then I was like, what if somebody responds? I got 4 calls and 2 really good leads out of it.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
I say that a lot.
It's so good. And it's, you weren't on at the very beginning, but before I even push record. So for those of you that were watching the replay, you might not have caught it, but this song, it's a hip hop song. It's been stuck in my head all day. It's a dance song, goes wobble with it, wobble with it, wobble with it. Oh yeah, you know that song?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I was on a coaching call this morning with my coach around moments when we wobble. Moments when we're in this place, let's say you're in the discovery and you're like, oh, that's what I need to do to get into the flourishing space, but I'm afraid.
Mhm.
And so I go, all right, I'm clear on the desire. How do I move into faith? And we notice ourselves wobbling between this version of me or that version of me. I want to do it, but my palms are sweating. My stomach, I feel like nauseous in my stomach and knots. Maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't, but I really want to. Right. And we're in that wobbling phase. I go, right, what if? What if we allow ourselves just to be playful about it and wobble with it? Dance it out in the kitchen while you play that song, the non-explicit version in my home, and drop into curiosity. Just, oh, wow, there I am again. We all inevitably will drop into fear or doubt. It's good because change is the most confronting thing that we do. When we're changing, it's really normal and healthy to have those moments of fear, but to go, okay, I see you, and I'm going to transmute that into letting the butterflies dance and get in line and be in that place of curiosity. So thank you for saying that. We can all just wobble with it.
Yeah, so what was really cool about it, another add-on to that was I went and I presented myself and my company and what I can do for them. And I know that I did not deliver the message well. I know that I do what I do very, very well. Telling other people what I do and how I do it and that I do it well, I can't deliver that well. But I wasn't even mad. I was like, usually or my previous version of myself would have said, oh man, I really messed this one up. Gosh,
Mhm.
I'm just an idiot. But now I'm like, how do I get better? What can I do? How can I learn from this experience and move forward? So my mindset has really changed as far as that goes.
I love it. To move away the self-critic and
Mhm.
instead just to be playful and laugh with your husband and be in the curiosity. And Sunny, I'm seeing your question about rest sessions. So for the Women's Vibrancy Accelerator trifecta, that's kind of phase 1. We're looking at your Dutch Plus test, blood test. You've got one call with me, one call with Katie, and then the add-ons as long as you say yes by February 5th. So we're really starting with the foundation of hormones, adrenals, and thyroid. For Malia, she went right into the Women's Vibrancy Code, which is a year-long program that includes the trauma release sessions, right? It includes a lot more one-on-ones, more intimate group calls, a much bigger portal. And so if you have any questions, when you book your call with me, we can have some conversations and figure out which route might be a better fit. Or for some, we'll just kind of create a personalized package that's somewhere in between the two of you. And it infuriates the team because it's a lot more from behind the scenes strategic and support, but we figured out and it's amazing. Okay. Last question, Malia. For the women who might be sitting in doubt, in self-critique, in second guessing herself, wondering if she should say yes to herself, what would you want her to know?
So for me, and for a lot of women, I think it really is about what stops us is, oh gosh, I just can't take on another thing. Another thing is like the price. Okay. Price is always a question. But let me tell you, it has changed my life. Like, I probably, I'm going to cry, but I probably would not be where I am right now if I didn't say yes. I
Mm.
think that women, we help so many people. We're always trying to please everybody. We're always putting everybody else first. We never put ourselves first. Um, and it's important. It's very, very important to put yourself first. It's so if you're in doubt at all, I would really just say, do you want to keep going the way that you are?
Mm. Thank you.
And and if that answer is no, you should definitely say yes.
Thank you. And doing these testimonial interviews it's always so fulfilling for me. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Um, I don't think I realized the impact. Now it makes me want to cry. I don't think I really realized the impact. Um, and that has a ripple effect because you support a lot of people. You've got a lot of children
Yes.
and you've got a lot of businesses. And for anybody who has questions around buying and flipping homes in the real estate world, Malia is a resource. Actually, Malia, what is this new thing? Why don't you put a plug in for yourself unapologetically?
That's okay. I had owned a small business for 17 years and I sold it and then went on to flipping business or sorry, flipping
Real estate.
real estate. Yes. So I consult small business to help them. Sometimes people don't know how to read books. They don't know how to keep books even. Also, we do a little bit of marketing for small business. And so kind of like you're all around just support.
Hmm. And when she say books, she's meaning accounting, not like the
Yeah,
books on the
sorry.
shelf behind my shoulder.
Yeah,
She's
keeping
meaning,
books. So uh just the accounting part and making sure that books are, your accounting is clean. That way you can file taxes on time. And when you file taxes on time, then you can do more things like
Mhm.
investments.
So if you're watching this on Facebook, here on Zoom, watching the replay, really do reach out to Malia, especially if you have questions around real estate flipping or if you're needing some support from just small business accounting structure. And I imagine they can just find you on Facebook. Where do they find you?
Yeah, Facebook is probably the best way. It's
Okay.
Malia Gomez.
Yeah. And if you can't find her, just reach out to your concierge support and they'll make sure to put you in contact. And so
Sounds
that's fun
good.
to give you a plug. Thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it, Malia. And
You're
I'm
welcome.
thrilled for more time together. We're not done. We still have time
No.
to go. Let's keep going.
Thank
Keep
you.
taking the steps. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
All right. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Okay, so good. Man, these are fun for me to do. Okay, so um going back to this content around stages, the truth is you're in all the stages at once in different areas of your life. And so we get to ask ourselves, where am I the seed? Where am I the restless caterpillar? Where am I stuck in the chrysalis, afraid to emerge in the discomfort? And where have you already flown and maybe forgotten to celebrate how far you've come? And so, one of the cool things bringing Malia here is she gets to really get quiet with a time for her to celebrate where she's come from. I'll never forget there was a woman I was working with her, and a few months in, she's like, oh my gosh, she was cleaning out underneath the bed and she found all of these earplugs. And she's like, I completely forgot that when I started working with you, I wasn't sleeping. And I was trying everything under the sun. And I used to sleep with these earplugs. And now I sleep like a log. And she goes, I'd forgotten. And so sometimes we forget. And so we also get to celebrate the areas where we have flown. So I just want you to close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath in and feel the places in your body that ache for potential, the places you've ignored, and to say to yourself, I'm done with fine. I declare my yes to vitality, to vibrancy, to the woman I was always meant to be at this age and beyond. I say yes to the Women's Vibrancy Accelerator trifecta because I refuse to stay small when I was born to soar. And just say that to yourself. Take it in. This is not about motivation, it's about a decision. Doubt will always be there, but faith is a muscle. And today you get to flex it. So I get to ask you, do you want to stay where you are or will you say yes? And allow yourself to feel the resistance. It's natural. But what if that resistance is the very sign that you're on the brink of transformation? Right? That caterpillar, like, oh boy, what am I doing? I'm going to build this chrysalis around me and turn to goo, or I'm going to emerge. And what if the fear you feel isn't a barrier, but it's a doorway? Because you deserve to thrive, not just survive. And the Women's Vibrancy Accelerator trifecta isn't just a program, it's a pathway to becoming the fullest, brightest version of you. And when you book that call, maybe it's actually the Women's Vibrancy Code. But what I want to say is don't let doubt decide your future. Okay? Let trust and faith decide your future. So, we get to kind of close this transformative journey for today, and then tomorrow's the last day, right? So, day one, self assessment around vitality. Day two, the interconnectedness of those 6 areas. Day three, hormones, thyroid, adrenals. Day four, what we consume, absorb, and detoxifies, who we become. Day five, live Q&A. Day six, this idea of the metamorphic path, the chrysalis of change, right? And just take a pause and get honest. What if fine really no. What is fine actually costing you? Right? Fatigue is more than just tiredness. It robs you of your joy, your ability to be present with your loved ones, and the energy to pursue the things that light you up. Hormonal imbalances aren't just mood swings. They erode your confidence, make you question your worth, and chip away at your sense of self. And when you're stuck in survival mode or the caterpillar and your dreams are shrinking, you stop imagining what's possible. And on the other hand, you get to remember what's possible, go back to dreaming, go back to your imagination. And then we get to set an example for our children and our grandchildren and our community, for other women, for the next generation of women. They don't just hear our words, they absorb our energy, our habits, our patterns. And when we settle for quote unquote fine, they learn to settle. But when we choose vitality, they learn to thrive and we thrive along the way, right? So we're here because life has been relentless. Many of you have shared, whoa, I just went through a very stressful time in my life, whether it's work or motherhood or leadership or entrepreneurship or self doubt or loss of a loved one. We're always juggling and running, but deep down, you know there's more. There's a version of you filled with energy and confidence and vitality, just waiting to be reclaimed. So when you pause, you create space, space for more than just the daily grind, right? And right now, this is a moment for the woman who craves spectacular, a vibrant existence, an abundant existence. The woman who wants more energy, better sleep, answers to hormonal challenges, ignited libido, deeper connection, unshakable confidence, and to be able to 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, look back and go, I didn't know the things I didn't know. And then we get to do this testimonial interview, and you get to share all the things that have changed that you had hoped for and also that you didn't anticipate. Right? If you're navigating perimenopause or menopause feeling like you're losing touch with yourself, or you're the high achiever checking all the boxes, but underneath the surface, you're exhausted, snapping at your family, feeling disconnected, struggling with weight gain, brain fog, irritability, sleepless nights, whatever it is for you, you're not alone. And you don't have to carry it all by yourself anymore. Even if you've seen the providers, the acupuncturist, the naturopath, the specialist, I promise you, there's still rocks that have not been unturned yet. Right? So, how many of you have you told yourselves, I'll deal with it later? We get to continue to push it aside, to convince yourself you're just too busy, or you're going to invest your money elsewhere. It will get better on its own. I'm going to keep doing Google searches. I'm going to wear all the hats versus, wait a minute, where's the hat I can take off and give to someone else that this is their expertise so I can wear the hats that are in my expertise, right? And so if you're open to sharing, once again, you're welcome to put in the chat, what is the biggest struggle? Send it to the team. Let us know. When you fill out that application for the call, be honest. And then to say what's next. Right? What's next? I say yes to the Women's Vibrancy Accelerator trifecta. I say yes to the call. I say yes to the Women's Vibrancy Code. If it's the trifecta, let's just stay focused there. That's where most of you are all going to start. 3 parts: foundational health. We go beyond basic labs. We dive into comprehensive hormone panels, thyroid optimization, adrenal health. For some of you, we might add on some gut microbiome analysis, but not in those first 3 months, because you deserve more than your labs are normal, right? We get to look at methylation pathways and organic acids, right? There's personalized coaching. That's number 2. Okay. So foundational health, personalized coaching. This isn't cookie cutter advice. It's tailored strategies, actionable steps, and support system that sees you, holds you, pushes you when needed. So you're not going to slip, right? So you've got one-on-one calls and twice a month Q&A calls. And then there's the mindset and emotional alignment, because what good is a healthy body if your mind is still stuck in survival mode and you have self-paced modules and the support of the community and the continued calls. Plus, while you're in the trifecta, you can always add more. If you're curious about a rest session, you can get member pricing and add that, right? If you're like, oh my God, that call with Katie was amazing, I want another one. Great, we've got you, okay? So that you can wake up energized, not exhausted, feel confidence in your body, reclaim your libido and zest for life, have mental clarity that sharpens your focus and creativity, and a deep sense of peace and alignment with yourself. Yep, so we're approaching decision point, right? I said until February 5th, I've added on that extra call with me, the virtual VIP day, and the discounted pricing. And if you feel resistance right now, that's normal. It's your nervous system clinging to what's familiar. But ask yourself, what if this resistance is the very sign that I'm on the brink of transformation? What if the fear I feel isn't a barrier, but it's a doorway? Yeah, I see you. Biggest issues: fatigue, headache, GI, anxiety, lack of clarity on my goals at this stage in my life. What do I want? So good. And we've got you, right? There's various universal laws in the world, but I like law of attraction, right? It teaches us that what we focus on expands. So if we focus on the fear, what if it doesn't work? Okay, what if on the other hand, we focus on what if it does? Yeah. And just know I've stood where you are. I've questioned myself. I've replayed past decisions. I've felt the fear of investing at me. But when I got quiet and I realized something profound, I am the safe investment. I may be the safest investment I will ever make. I take it with me forever. The education and the foundation you're given, you have forever. I choose faith over doubt, vision over fear, right? So, anyway, February 5th is the cutoff to receive the added perks we've shared. It's not about urgency, it's about alignment. If you feel the pull, that's your sign, right? To say yes. I'm saying yes to my vitality, and law of attraction shows up, says yes. There we go. Right? Your next chapter isn't waiting, it's here, it's now. And it starts with one word, and that's yes. So if you're ready, you're welcome to put yes in the chat. You're welcome to text yes to 458 218 7817. You can send an email of yes to admin@marayabrown.com. And we get to embrace you with the team of support. Krista will be there every step of the way to pop on a Zoom call and have a cup of tea. Aaliyah is there every step of the way to respond to all of your emails and make sure you've got all the places that you need and your log into the portal and the link to book the call, right? And Katie and I are there for your one-on-one time and the live, and I'm there for the live Q&A to give you the hand holding and the integration, the assimilation. And then you get to detoxify that which doesn't serve you, right? I can't promise every single thing is for you, but I can promise, like what Malia said, I need to do the work. You will have to take steps, okay? It's not just something that's, I don't have a magic wand, right? You will take the steps. All right, with that, I had a little guided meditation plan, but I think I'm already over by 6 minutes. I'm going to call it and go be present with the kids and maybe go play out in the snow a little bit. Excited for tomorrow is the last day. And I'm so thrilled to celebrate everyone that's saying yes and for the calls that have been booked. Looking forward to doing those. And I will see you all tomorrow. You're welcome. Thank you.